Hello, my name's Jo and I'm from a company called Springpod. So what we're going to do today is just have a brief look ahead of all the options available to you and the decisions that you're going to have to make. Um, so we're going to think about how you make really good decisions because you'll see as we go through the presentation there really is a huge amount of choices, which is fantastic. There's lots of exciting things you can do, but it can be tricky trying to decide. We'll have a look at some of the options open to you. We can't go through every single option because this video would go on for a very long time. So we're going to focus particularly on something called T Levels and Apprenticeships. Finally, we're going to have a think about what you can be doing in year 7 and 8, and to think about how you can start preparing now. So preparing early to make sure that you make those really good decisions. So you might want to pause this video or just have a little think in your head. It's always good to kind of have a think about where you want to be in the future. So we've got 10 years here, but it could be 20 years. What do you want your life to look like? What sort of job do you think you might be happy in? Um, but what I would also say is absolutely okay not to know. A lot of people do not have a definite career plan when they're in the younger years in secondary school. So how do you make a good careers decision? So you have to think about what you need to decide. So be clear about what decisions you're going to have to make. So at some point, not quite yet, but you're going to have to think about what GCSEs you want to take, perhaps where you want to go after secondary school, whether that's a sixth form or a college, or you want to do an apprenticeship. But as I said before, don't worry, there's absolutely plenty of time to decide this. Um, the easiest way to make good decisions as well is to prepare ahead and do your research. So gather all the information you need, and there'll be lots of people that can help you get this information. Talk to as many people as possible. So you'll have teachers, you might have a careers advisor, get advice. It's always good as well to kind of keep the discussions going with your family and friends. So sharing ideas, because you might find out perhaps about an option that you weren't aware of before. And there are lots of options. So be open. I would say it's always good to be open to every single option and think about all the choices that are available to you. Um, as we're going to go through this presentation, you'll get a bit more of an idea about how important it is to think about how you like to learn, because that can impact what choice you make after secondary school. The most important thing is this is your decision. So you're the person that has to pursue these qualifications or do this career or work in this job. So think about you. Um, Eventually you'll need to take action. So you don't need to take action yet, but the more you prepare ahead, the easier that action will be. And you don't want to be a lastminute.com student. So you don't want to be someone that's panicking at the last minute and then just choosing a particular course or option, not really knowing enough about it. And you definitely don't want to miss any deadlines that are set by your school. So thinking about yourself now, and then I say it's always a good idea to think about where you want to be, what is your goal. Success is going to look different for everyone. Everyone has a different pathway, and pathways change. You no longer have one job for the rest of your life. You'll probably have lots of different jobs. I've had lots of different jobs, and my career has gone sideways as well as up upwards. So you need to think about particularly whether something like an apprenticeship might help you reach your goal, or is it a university option that will help you reach your goal. So let's explore. So we've had a look at career decisions. We've established there's lots of choices. So we're going to look at some of the options that might be open to you now. Now you're going to hear a lot of these words over the next couple of years, and some of them you probably don't know a huge amount about, which is fine. But you will hear people mention to you apprenticeships or university, something called T levels that you might not be as aware of. You might have older brothers or sisters maybe that are doing A levels, so you might be familiar with those, or a B Tech. There's lots more words we could add to this screen, um, but we can't possibly in the time we've got go through every single one. So we're going to focus on a couple of particular options that you might know the least about. So this is just one example. So you may be, so obviously at some point in shortly you're going to be starting your GCSEs, so those are the qualifications that you do at secondary school. From secondary school, you'll have a choice to make. Do you go to college? And so this is just one example. So a college or a sixth form, you might be able to do something called A levels or a B Tech or T level. There are lots and lots of courses available. Then from that pathway, you might decide you want to go to university. So that will be further education where you might go away to a university and study a course. There are thousands of courses to choose from, and you don't need to worry about that quite yet, but it's always good to look ahead. You'll usually spend 2 to 4 years depending on the course at university. Or you might decide after sixth form or college to actually go off and do an apprenticeship, which is a real job with training that we're going to learn a little bit more about today. So this is a very short video that's going to give you a little bit of an intro to what an apprenticeship is.
What exactly is an apprenticeship? What opportunities do apprenticeships unlock? How do you find out what apprenticeship is right for you? An apprenticeship is a genuine job, combined with classroom-based training which allows you to earn while you learn. With a variety of opportunities in a range of industries, there's bound to be an apprenticeship for you. Your apprenticeship is designed to get you the right job at the right time, developing your skills to be career ready. Discover the world of apprenticeships and the exciting opportunities available to you. Powered by Springpod in partnership with the Department for Education, this introduction to apprenticeships will grant you the opportunity to learn the essentials, hear student stories, and unlock the potential to take control of your future.
So I am going to show you where you can access more information a little bit later on, but as you've gathered there, apprenticeships that's where you do a real job and you earn money at the same time. So it's quite an attractive option. You can do apprenticeships in a really wide range of industries. So it might be that you're interested in childcare or engineering or hairdressing. Um, you can even qualify as someone that, a solicitor, so someone that works in law. So you can either go to university and qualify as a solicitor, or you could actually do an apprenticeship. You could become a police officer through an apprenticeship. So there really is a wide range, and sometimes young people are not always aware of there's lots of different pathways to get to the same end destination. So you'll start to learn a bit more about these over the next few years. You'll find it's a really good idea to kind of research any careers you're interested in just to see which pathways are available. So there's lots of benefits to the apprenticeship route. So you get paid, which is always the first nice benefit that people talk about. You get all your holidays because you're a normal employee and all the other perks that you get as a like as with anyone else who's doing that job. You learn on the job. So this is where you can have a think in the future about how you like to learn. Do you like to learn in the classroom, or do you like to learn skills whilst you're on the job? You don't have to pay for your university loans to go to university, so you won't have the debt that is manageable debt, and you'll learn more about. But sometimes that is considered an advantage. You won't have to pay to go to university, although you are borrowing that money. Um, you might get lots of other incentives and bonuses, and you'll be able to progress and in your career very well, because you'll be gaining experience and qualifications at the same time. And as we've said, there's a wide range available. Now, things you might want to think about if you were thinking about this option, and you've got plenty of time to do this, is that they can be quite competitive if you choose this route. Of course, you can choose to pursue an apprenticeship also after GCSEs. That's another option, but a lot of, some people prefer to go to sixth form or college and then pursue an apprenticeship after that. And some of those may require good grades after from your sixth form or college. It can be quite intense applying for an apprenticeship, so you'd have to be prepared for that, which is why it's always a good idea to start now, because you can start building up lots of experience. Um, it can be some young people find it quite hard to juggle studies and application process. So when you're applying for an apprenticeship, it can take up quite a lot of time. Um, and possibly you might have to move away from home, which you might think about is a good thing or a bad thing. So these are the things that you might want to think about. So we're going to also have a very quick look at what T levels are. So this is another option that you could have in the future when you're thinking about what to do after secondary school.
What is a T level? What can T levels do for you? T levels offer practical learning alongside your classroom studies, giving you the essential skills needed to start in your chosen career. T levels are available in a variety of industries and prepare you for the world of work. A T level could provide the in-depth technical training you need to make a start in your dream career. Discover the world of T levels and the exciting opportunities available to you. Powered by Springpod in partnership with the Department for Education, this introduction to T levels will grant you the opportunity to learn the essentials, hear student stories, and unlock the potential to take control of your future.
So again, just a very brief overview. We don't want to overload you with lots of information about all of these options at the moment, but I'm going to show you where you can find out more info if you wanted it. Listening to the student stories is really helpful because you get to hear from young people who have chosen an apprenticeship or chosen a T level, and find out kind of what they like about that option. So finally, we're going to have a quick look at how you can start preparing now. And I have said this throughout, but I really do think it's incredibly important to think about what is right for you and have a pause and think about what you want to do. So a couple of questions just to get you started, I would say. These are good questions to get going. So think about what sort of things interest you and what do you enjoy. So that could be linked to your subjects at school. It could be something outside of school that you do. So have a little think about that. What interests you? Have a think about what sort of things you think you can do very well. Um, there might be some things that perhaps you don't do that well at the moment, but you would like to get better at. And I'm sure there'll be lots of opportunities whilst you're in school to develop certain skills. So when you're in year 7 and 8, I would say it's good to start now. Have a think about and find out as much information about jobs that interest you. You can do that by talking to as many people as possible, whether that's teachers, friends, family. It might even be possible to visit a company or even go to a university and have a look around. Maybe you've got older friends or family that you could chat to about what they're doing in their job. Think about all the skills that you gain from your extracurricular hobbies. So I'm sure a lot of you might have things that you do outside of school, whether that's a sport or perhaps you play a musical instrument. But think about all of those particular skills that you gain because they are really, really important for your future applications. Maybe your school is always asking for people to help out with certain things. Now, it is a good idea if you can to take on those extra responsibilities because then you'll get to develop the skills that employers want even more. There are lots and lots of useful websites that you can use to explore and find out careers linked to your favourite subjects. Um, as like I've said before, you don't have to decide now exactly what job you're going to do, but it is always a good idea to start, having a little look at what careers might be linked to your subjects. Um, Above all, don't forget how you do at school is extremely important to get to your next step. Um, but at the same time, there's always options for everyone, whatever level you're working at. So we've got some opportunities on Springpod where you can actually have a look at post 16 options. You have to be 13 to create an account with Springpod, but there's nothing to stop you from having a little look at the post 16 options section because that's where you can click and listen to young people who are completing apprenticeships or T levels, or there's also higher technical qualifications, which I haven't covered today because that would take up too much time. Um, so have a look at Springpod. So start now. You might want to have a look at apprenticeships. So there's a really good tool there that you can have a look at just to get an idea of what vacancies might look like. Maybe there's a particular industry that you want to look into, and a lot of those might have their own particular sites. So if you think you might want to work for the NHS in a health profession, they've got their own job board. Maybe there's a company that you've always dreamed of working for, or you like the sound of. Have a look at their websites and see if they've got careers pages, which they usually do, and information for young people leaving school or college. Keep your options open. Don't narrow anything down at this stage. Keep your options open. Have a look at as many options as possible. And if you're super keen and really want to plan ahead, you can start looking at UCAS. So UCAS is the website that everyone goes to look at university options. So you could have a little play around with that. As soon as you're 13, as I say, you can start completing virtual work experience with Springpod, which will also be really, really helpful. So it's all online. You do it in your own time, and you get that experience with big employers. So, final top tips is don't panic. You've got plenty of time to do all of this and to get as much advice and information that you need. You will have lots of opportunities coming your way. Do take advantage of all these opportunities. They really will make a massive difference. And they will also help you, the decision making process so much easier. So, the more you prepare, the easier and better those decisions will be. And you won't find yourself perhaps on a course or in a job that you're not overly happy with. There's always options to change direction, but the earlier that you can prepare, the better. So do take advantage of it all and enjoy exploring.